Hey you guys, I just had this like overwhelming urge to sit down in front of the camera and talk about some things that have been on my mind a lot lately, and I feel like I need to voice them. I feel like that's going to be a part of my process of dealing with what I'm going through. I just came out into the garden and I'm sitting under this lovely tree where all the birds hang out. I want to have like an open and honest chat about what it's like having a YouTube channel and how I feel about it, and just kind of everything that surrounds that. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about today. It's kind of difficult to know where to start because I feel like my journey started a long time ago with YouTube and with social media and like my online presence, I guess. Yeah, it's been 6 or 7 years now, which is pretty crazy. I just get so nervous when there's a camera in front of my face, to be honest, and I feel like I can come up with all these ideas in my head before I'm thinking about making a video, and I'm just like, I can articulate it perfectly in my mind and like I know exactly what I want to convey, and then as soon as there's a camera in front of my face, I'm just like, I just tense up and go all weird. But I feel like I need to practice becoming more comfortable with it, I guess. Okay, so to be completely honest, I don't particularly like having a YouTube channel at the moment. It gives me quite a lot of anxiety. Oh, it's so hard to put into words. It's not necessarily something that I like chose to do, that this is my passion, this is my like goal. I want to create videos and share them on YouTube. Like, it's just kind of such a weird idea in the first place, but I guess I sort of just like fell into it a little bit. So for those of you who don't know, I spent 4 years of my life when I was 18 to 22 living and traveling on board a 53-foot sailboat, which I joined in Fiji when I was 18 and sailed with them over the space of 4 years all the way to Madagascar, which is pretty crazy. Whoa. Weird. There was like 4 of us mainly. We had like friends and family come and go over the years, but I met them like a year or 2 into their journey. So the boat was originally from America and they'd sailed across the Pacific, and I met them in Fiji in 2011, I think it was. And at that time they had a blog. So yeah, when I joined them, I got involved with like writing blogs as well about the cultural experiences that we were having and what life is like living on a sailboat and traveling around with, 3 or 4 other people and living in a confined space and sailing from one place to the next and Yeah, slowly over time it gained like, a global audience of people who were interested in our journey and what we were doing, because it was something quite unique and different. So yeah, we were doing blogs for about a year, and then it was when we left Australia in 2012 and started sailing up through Indonesia and the Philippines is when we started filming and making little videos, which we then posted on YouTube. And at the time, like, I was 19, 20, I didn't really watch YouTube. I didn't even really know it was a thing to like make videos and put them up there and eventually be able to like monetize them and create an income offer and eventually make a lifestyle out of that or have that as your job. I just had no concept of that at all. My like intention, I guess, at the time, or why I was putting effort into it and like thought it was great, was that so in like 30 years we could all get together and like watch these videos and drink some rum and like laugh at all this crazy shit that we did, because we had some wild experiences. I just had no idea that it could eventuate into what it is today, which is pretty massive. They've been going at it now for like 8 or 9 years as well. I guess over the years the audience grew and developed, and people were starting to email us and say that like they've been so inspired by our videos and our story and our adventures that you know, they'd just sold their house and bought their first sailboat, and they're going to start like taking sailing lessons and like going to sail around the world. And it's like, it was amazing that this was happening. And at the time I didn't really think too much about like what that would mean for me later in my life, sharing like really intimate parts of my life and like just everyday life on the boat. You know, nothing was like scripted or like whatever. It was just like we just were who we were, and we did what we did, and we filmed a lot of it. And I never really thought about the implications of that and how I would feel later in life. Like at the time I did not give a shit. Like it was great. I was very like carefree, and I didn't care what anybody thought of me. And then at the end of those like 4 years, I was 22, and I had gone through a lot of like personal growth, and I guess I was starting like my spiritual journey, and my path had kind of taken a shift, and it was like the hardest thing I have ever had to do was leaving that boat, because it was my life, and we were generating money from it, and it was like incredible, this like amazing lifestyle. From the outside looking in, it'd be like, who would ever leave that? But I was taking a shift in my personal path, and at the same time the project, the Delos project, was also growing in its own way. And I just felt like what's the word? It wasn't aligned properly or something. I just didn't, I don't know, I just felt like it was my time to leave. And that took a lot of courage from me. And I'm happy with saying that, because I'm really proud of myself for making that decision and stepping away from something that was comfortable and safe and incredible and amazing and had this bright future, into stepping into the complete unknown. I had to borrow $5,000 from my parents to pay for my flights back home to New Zealand, and I was coming home with no job, no money, and no idea of like what I was going to do. But I just knew in my gut and in my whole being that it was the right thing to do. Like I just needed to do this, and like venture on my own path. I felt like just determined. And I guess where I'm going with this is the years following that choice of leaving, which has almost been 3 years now, has been a massive journey of like rebirth in a way, and like healing. To be honest, it was really hard for everybody when I decided to leave. I was ending a relationship, I was ending all this like connection that we had all made together, and this thing that we had created, and I was leaving that. And I was like pretty broken. I was like physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, like quite sick. It was like a total transformation pretty much, but it had to like start with all of this toxicity that I was dealing with to like come out, I guess, and like so I could start fresh. And so as I was going through this process, I had just started creating Brahmatree, and you know, for everything that I create to fall under that name. So I just started like making jewelry, and I was making clothes out of like all this fabric that I'd collected in India, and I was like doing paintings for people and like all sorts of stuff. And I was just like, you know, trying to find my feet, and was like just determined to like do my own thing and work for myself and like be creative. And I was very like, I've learned a lot of lessons but during this whole process I was like, I started like caring what people thought of me. For some reason I started becoming quite anxious about my past, and having these videos on the internet of my time on Delos, which was like very uncensored. You know, we were just like in bikinis and like living life on the boat and sailing. I mean, it sounds glamorous and whatever, but it's pretty tough. Just want to say that I started like feeling quite anxious about it, and I still do. I still feel, I don't know, it's a really weird thing, because I know that the past is the past and it's gone, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what people think about that, because that no longer exists. And as long as you are happy with like the growth that you've achieved from being that person to this person, and like as long as you know that and you can identify with it and be proud of that and recognize that, it's like that's enough. But for some reason I just have this weird connection, like, and tie and attachment to my past, and I just have this fear and like anxiety around people looking at those videos, and especially like new people that I meet, like looking at those videos, and I feel getting the wrong idea of me or impression of me, because I feel so different to that girl who was. And I'm not ashamed of it, because it was like an incredible journey and story. It's amazing, and it's shaped me to who I am now. I don't know if it's like the way that the videos were edited, or like just me being a young teenager not giving a fuck, you know, like, and having that, it's like having home videos that your mum has taken of you when you were, you know, 17 or 15 or whatever, and then like you bring like your partner around, and then your mum's like, oh, let's show your new partner these videos, and it's like, oh god, no. And that's how I feel all the time, because these videos, there's like over 100 on YouTube, like on the internet, and some of these videos have got like 6 million views. It's crazy. Yeah, it's just a very like weird and strange concept to have like some of the most intimate parts of your life, and especially like through developing years of like growing up, to have that documented and on the internet for lots of people to see. And like I don't necessarily have the power to take those down or to do anything with them, like they're done. It's been frustrating me for a really long time, because I know it doesn't serve me at all to feel anxious about it, or to be worried about it, or think about it so much, where it's like detrimental to my like mental health. It's like I know that doesn't serve me, but for some reason it still lingers around, and it's just a part of my journey, and it's a part of my like development and growth, and it's something that I'm learning, and I know eventually I'll get there one day, where I feel comfortable and content with my past and who I was and what is out there on the internet. But for now, like, it is something that I'm going through, and I think that that's quite important to voice. And I think also vulnerability is a really amazing, great thing. So I guess that's also why I'm doing this video, is to create like a vulnerable space around it, in hopes that, you know, we can connect a little bit better. Maybe you can understand my story a little bit more. Hopefully you can resonate with something that I'm saying, and know that you're not alone, or, you know, whatever. There's so many aspects that are positive about vulnerability. And in the wake of me like leaving Delos and starting with my own journey with Ramatri, I guess there were a lot of people who were watching the Delos videos, who, you know, on a weekly basis or whatever, who essentially had like watched me grow up over the space of like 4 years. Yeah, I guess over that time you create a sense of connection with that person or people or whatever it is. So I felt that when I had ventured out and was doing my own thing, there was a lot of people who were like reaching out to me, and firstly saying really amazing things about my decision, which at a time was like so amazing to hear all these like positive things about people recognizing the strength that it took to do that. And people were interested in like what I was up to, and with like my creative projects, and I guess just how I was doing and what I was up to. So I guess that's why I started my own YouTube channel. I knew it was like a way to connect with people and establish like a lifestyle and a business essentially, and to like grow an audience, and to be able to like monetize that and sustain you to like keep going. I guess I had learned that was possible, so that's I guess one of the reasons why I started it. And also just because it was something that could be just mine, and something that I had 100% like creative freedom and reign over. And if I want, I can delete it. I'm not going to do that, but you know, I have that power to do that. But I'm still creating videos, and I still feel anxious about them and weird about them, with things like shame or fear of judgment, or being anxious about it, or whatever. These things, it's like they're very easy to kind of like be in the background and just like be in my thoughts or be in your thoughts or whatever, these like personal things that we feel. And I think especially with shame, to be able to like bring those things out and hold them in your hand and like actually look at them and sometimes even share them, it kind of brings the power back into yourself, and you're able to recognize those things and be able to reflect on them and understand them a lot better, and not have them be this like shadow in the background, but actually something that you're facing with, you know, because we have to learn to love our light and our darkness and our shadows that we all have. That is just a part of life. So I feel that by sharing this and by talking about it, it's like creates, I don't know, I just feel like it's a good thing for me to do. I'm kind of over like all of this fake shit. I'm just like, give me the truth, give me something real, give me connection, give me like how you're actually feeling. And we're all fucking humans, like we're all having these experiences, and if we all can just like be a bit more honest and real, especially on social media, about these things, like I think it can open up so many doors for like connection, like real connection. And that's the other thing as well. It's like we live in this weird world where the internet's not going to go away, like it's only going to progress with technology. It's like I feel really strange about having a YouTube channel a lot of the time, and I guess this is a part of my anxiety, is because I don't want to contribute to, you know, people being stuck on their phones all the time or in front of their computer. Like I want people to have like real human interactions. So I feel weird about that, because I don't want to support, you know, people just being glued to their phones or whatever. But at the same time, what I'm trying to achieve, what I strive for, I guess, what I'm trying to strive for is to create these real connections online, because that's what we have to start doing. Otherwise it's just like all of this fake shit, and we're just getting like bombarded by all this crap from the media and all these like people. I don't know, there's nothing wrong with that either, but I just feel like it's important to me, so I want to start doing that. And I guess this is why this is a very honest chat. I haven't in the past created content that I feel super proud of. Like I know I have potential to like create really good content, and I'm just getting a little bit frustrated lately because I feel like I can't express that properly, and I feel like what I'm creating is like not, I don't know, I'm just like not proud of it or something. So I feel that I sort of like shy away from even showing people my YouTube channel, because I don't want them to get the wrong idea, you know. And that's just such a silly concept, because I need to be comfortable with where I'm at on my journey and on my path, and know that, and I know the truth, like I know my truth. So just holding on to that and not giving a shit what anybody else thinks, like it's such an important thing. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm going through at the moment. Yeah, and I feel like I haven't been super like inspired lately, because I'm like dealing with this anxiety around it. Like to even put up a video and share it with you guys, it's like that takes quite a lot of mental strength from me to feel comfortable with doing that. Like sometimes I think it would just be easier to like, you know, work in a cafe and just like what I do is what I do in that present moment, and not have to worry about like documenting things and putting them up on the internet and knowing that they're going to be there for a long time. But I guess when I started my own channel, it was like I wasn't set or structured about like what I was gonna do with it. Like I wasn't making like weekly episodes. Like I was very sporadic, very like infrequent with my posting, and I still kind of even am now, because I'm still figuring out what I want to do with this, what I want to do with this channel. I don't know, there's a lot of you who've subscribed to it, and I feel like amazingly blessed that you want to be a part of this journey. Like, that's incredible, and I want to, like, that's just kind of sitting there and like tapping me on the shoulder. I guess that story of being on Delos and being a part of that project and that whole thing sort of was the stepping stone for me into like the social media world and this like online platform. And I didn't necessarily like choose it, and in the beginning I didn't necessarily even understand it, but I'm in it now, and it's happened, and somehow life has led me here to this point, talking to you about it, and I just have to accept that. And I want to practice more gratitude with it, and like not like dwell too much on the negative aspects of it or the things that I'm struggling with. I mean, I do need to like give them attention and light and love and like focus on them, but also like cultivating and nurturing the positive things about it and really going for that and putting my energy into that. Yeah, so that's kind of what I want to do with this, I guess, and being creative with the content that I produce and start actually like being proud of what I create. And I think a lot of that comes down to, I guess, having the resources to do that. And it's kind of a shame, because that at the moment means money, and I don't necessarily want to be rich or, you know, have 12 boats, you know, I don't strive for that at all. I'd much rather be like rich in experiences and in love and connection and all that kind of stuff. And I feel weird even like talking about money, because I don't like money, but it's kind of important and crucial to be able to survive in this world, which is kind of a shame. And I spend a lot of time and energy, like, this is my full-time job. I create art and content. It's weird because I have a very irregular income. I don't know when I'm gonna get paid, essentially, because I don't know if someone's gonna buy a painting, if they're not gonna buy a painting, if how many views this is gonna get, if this is even gonna make any money. And I guess for a lot of content creators, it's an interesting one, because we put the time and energy and effort into creating content, not knowing that there's like a monetary value to that. You know, it's just like we do it out of whatever reasons that we do it out of, for the love of creativity or art or creating or sharing or whatever it is, in the hopes that, you know, people are going to enjoy it and support it or resonate with it or whatever. Which I guess brings me to my point. If you resonate with my videos, if you enjoy them, if you want to see more of them, if you want to connect with me, if whatever it is, if you feel something, if you feel value or something in what I do, then please let me know. Please extend this connection. Like, let this be a two-way thing. I want to continue documenting and sharing and creating and growing and evolving this thing that I'm doing with Ramatri. Hopefully like spread and ripple some positivity into the world. I hope. I would love to have you on board and like a part of this journey. I think I say a lot. Probably gonna edit this video and be like, oh my god, I say 1 million times. I'm gonna feel pretty strange about posting this, I guess, because it is extremely personal and extremely open. I'm happy that I did talk about these things, because I feel I'm not doing the best that I can, and I guess just by voicing that, now you know that. And so it makes me feel better about it. Yeah, I've been sitting here for quite a while talking. It's just gotten cold. I'm gonna go inside and make a cup of tea, and I feel quite inspired to just put this together right now, so I'm probably gonna go do that. I'm excited to see how you guys respond to this. Let me know. God, I really do say a lot. I'm trying so hard not to say it. I'm so close. Leave a comment email me, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and yeah, head to my Patreon page if you'd like to. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you very much for listening and for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna try and post a video every week or every 2 weeks. I don't know what my next video is gonna be, but you'll see me in it when I make it. See you soon.